Hi, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Ask a Witch. My name's Katrina Rasbold, and I've been a practicing witch for almost 40 years. For the last 10 years or so, I've been working as a professional witch, meaning that I do cleansings, readings, and spell work for my clients, as well as teaching classes to people that want to learn about all aspects of witchcraft. If you want to know more about me, you can go to katrinarasbold.com. So, in the course of teaching those classes, I get asked a number of questions. And I felt like that if my students were wondering those things, y'all might be wondering them too. And that is how Ask a Witch was born. So this time, what we're going to talk about is one I get asked a lot, and that is, can you undo a spell? So that's a heavy question. It's a great question, but it's one you really got to think of all the implications of. Now, when you do a spell work, you're taking your energy and divine energy, whatever you consider to be sacred, and blending them all together and pushing that energy toward a specific outcome that you want to have happen. And then you layer things onto it, like I'm going to use stones that back this up. I'm going to use different herbs that back this up, and incenses that back this up, and oils that back this up. I'm going to have statues or symbolism around me that backs this up. So it's a whole process when you're doing a spell to build the energy to send it out there. And once you send it out there, the cat's out of the bag. You've pushed it out there and the ripple effects have begun and it's enacted. By the time you sit down from having done that spell, you've already pushed it out there. So the question becomes, number one, why would you want to undo the spell? You shouldn't be doing spell work that you ought not be doing, that you ought not be doing, and that you're going to have to undo later. That's the first part of it. So make sure that you're solid, that you want to do this work and you want this to happen when you do the spell. You should never go into spell work feeling like, well, I think this is what I want, but I'm not sure. You should be really solid because your desire for what you're enacting is a big part of where your energy is going to come from. And that needs to come from a wholesome and solid place. So if you're not sure about what you want, don't do the spell work. But let's say you did spell work based on the information you had at the time and you want to undo that spell work. Let's say, I don't know, let's say that you did spell work to bring a specific job to you. Stop it, Elvis. You applied for a job and you want that job, so you're doing the spell work to get that job. And then after you do the spell work, you find out that there's things about that job that are unacceptable to you. So you don't want that job now. So you just as soon reel in that energy and not get the job anymore. So when I answer the question of can you undo a spell, I would say no. Can you counteract a spell? Yes. Can you reverse the damages that a spell did, or can you reverse the effects of the spell? Maybe. So you got the energy out there, and the energy begins to work to create the outcome. I'm sorry, excuse me. Elvis, stop it, buddy. Be cool. I got an 18-year-old dog here, don't know how to act. So you've pushed the energy out there to begin to set up a series of experiences that you want to have. I said, quit it. A series of experiences that you want to have. And as soon as you put it out there, it begins to set that up. Now, things might happen as a result of you doing that spell work. And it's all going to be working toward that ultimate outcome. Now, let's say you decide you don't want that outcome. What you can do is, for one thing, you can blow out the candle. If you were doing a 7-day candle for it, you can do a follow-up spell that is for something different that redirects the energy. You could also undo the physicalities of the spell that you did. Let's say you did a binding spell on somebody and wrapped them all up with duct tape or rope or cord or something, an effigy, you can untie them or you can cut them loose. If you put somebody in a mirror box, you could take the effigy out of the mirror box. If you did a witch jar on somebody because you were mad and wanted to curse them, you can go out, dig up that witch jar, break it up, hose everything out, and disseminate that energy. So by messing with the physical aspects of the spell, yes, you can help to unravel that spell. If you want to just to do something different, you could do a spell to get a different job, or you could do a cut and clear spell to separate you from the idea of having that job. That's sort of corrective, course correcting to, you decided you don't want that. Now I want this instead. You don't want to do that too many times because the energy tends to get unfocused and confused. Now, here's what you can't do. You can't always undo what was already in process as a result of your spell. Now, here's an example. This is far-fetched, but just presume this. You're in a relationship that is a little bit unstable and you're not very happy. You meet somebody else, you start to see them, you fall in love with them, you want to end the first relationship so you can, with a clear heart, go and be with the person you want to be with. So you do spell work to basically break up with your partner or to cause a breakup. What happens then? Let's say that your new love goes away or ditches you or leaves you or isn't who you thought you wanted, and you now want to stay with your partner. So sure, you're going to be running like mad to try to undo that spell and try to make your relationship with your partner happier. However, you might have already, through the energy you put into the breakup, caused damage to that relationship that can't be fixed. And there's no guarantee you're going to be able to repair that damage with magic. So let's say reverse that idea or substitute the idea of lovers for jobs. Let's say you're in a job and it's okay. It doesn't pay great. You don't love it, but it's a job. And you find this other job that you really, really want that pays a lot of money and has a lot of benefits and is so much better. And you do magic to get that really, really, really good job. And you start to the process, say you turn in your resignation as part of your act of faith, and then that other job goes away. Well, you're scrambling to get your first job back, but they may have already hired somebody. So you couldn't necessarily undo what happened. All you can do is move forward. And that's really what it comes down to when you're talking about undoing spell work. You do your spell work, you put the energy out there. If mitigating information or factors come into play after you do the spell work that make you no longer want to have that happen or to achieve the goal of the spell, you don't go backwards, you go forwards. You can break up your witch jars or you can take somebody out of the mirror box or whatever that is, but you want to move forward. What do you want to have happen next? And what you then do is direct the continued energy of the spell through your intention to the new idea. But when you're doing that, you have to kind of just take the responsibility for the spell work you already did and whatever comes of that. And the first thing that's important to know about spell work is you are accountable for the spell work you do. There's no getting around it. Even if you do spell work with the best of intentions, based on the information you had, there might be times that you misstep. There might be times that you're not happy with the outcome. And you have to own that. You just do. And so from there, you work forward. What do you want to have happen next? So the short answer, that was the long answer. The short answer to can you undo a spell? Sort of. You can usually make it better. You can usually direct the energy to where you want it to go. But no, you can't go back in time and not make that spell have happened. And if there were negative repercussions as a result of that spell, you kind of have to be accountable for that and try to mitigate it with future spell work or just deal with what's happening. So that's my answer for can you undo a spell? I hope that's helpful to you.